the known area method to calibrate this sprayer. This is a 200-gallon sprayer, Belton sprayer, with a 30-foot boom. I've had good luck with this sprayer. Excuse the wind. I've had good luck with this sprayer. It's run off the PTO of the tractor right here. That's what powers it. This is just a lid, and then it's got some valves, so I can use the hand wand or I can use the 30-foot boom. We're calibrating it today for the 30-foot boom. So what I've done is I've filled this tank up to the 100, there's gallon markers on the side here. Filled it up to the 100-gallon mark. It matters not really how many gallons we start out here. What we're going to measure is how many gallons we spray over a measured course, and I'm going to actually spray an entire acre. That's going to be my known area, is an acre. And so it's just important that you have a mark that you know on the tank, and I happen to have a seam in the tank halfway through. So when we spray the field for an acre, we come back here, we're going to fill it back up to that known mark with a measuring with a measured amount of water to know how much water we sprayed on that field over the course of 1 acre. So let me seal this up and we'll get out on the course and spray an acre. Here are 2 slides that summarize the main calibration methods. You'll need to pause on these if you want to read these and maybe zoom in on them as well. The first slide is the known area method, which we're using in this video, and the second slide is the stationary method, which we're not using in this video. I'm going to mark the field with this roll type measuring device and some orange marking paint. An acre is 208 feet square, roughly. And so I'll make that square, and then I'll run that entire course with my tractor with the sprayer, the 30-foot boom out and running. So I marked the course with these orange dots, this orange paint, and I can see it from the cab of the tractor. You can see this one because I'm pointing at it, but you won't be able to see the other ones. There's another one downline there, another one kitty corner, and then there's one down this way. It's 208 feet square for an acre, roughly, not exactly. And so I've got the 30-foot boom extended. And I've got the 100 gallons of fluid. You can see that shaking in there. And we're going to spray this entire 1 acre. One advantage of the known area method, because there are ways to do this without driving so much, though it's only an acre. But one advantage is you can do this calibration with 1 person. With the so-called stationary method, you have to measure the output from all of these nozzles at once. My tractor doesn't allow me to get off of it while the PTO is running, and the PTO is driving that pump. So there's no way for me to both stand back here and monitor this and measure these while I'm sitting in the cab. So it's just kind of impossible for me. And that is that. That's the last mark. So I've sprayed that entire acre and ended up here at my final orange dot. So now we need to just go do some simple measuring. Alright, we're back from spraying that acre. It looks like the fluid is rocking along somewhere between the 75 and 100-gallon mark. So it really doesn't matter if I had exactly 100 gallons in. That's not the point. We need to know how many gallons we put on the field. So I'm going to replace water into this tank to get up to the mark, what I'm calling the 100-gallon mark. There's actually a seam in the tank right there. So I'm going to pour water in measured amounts, and what I'm using for that is a kitty litter jug that I've measured with this Home Depot measured cup. But I've measured that 2 gallons is right here on the kitty litter jug. So I'm going to do this in 2-gallon increments, pouring water back into the tank here to see how many gallons of fluid we put on the tank. So let me go ahead and start pouring, and we'll add it up. We'll almost be calibrated. All right, so I poured these 2-gallon kitty litter deals back into the tank, and I got 8 of them. As my spraying, as a rule of thumb, I call it 15 gallons an acre. 8 of these is 16 gallons. So I'll just, it's not a bad idea to recalibrate. Maybe I was going a little faster or higher pressure or whatever. So we'll call it 16 gallons over this acre, and then we will look at the chemical that we're about to apply and calculate how many pints of the chemical I need to put in, given that I'm now back up at the 100-gallon mark, and we use 16 gallons of fluid per acre. So about the only math I had to do is I've got 100 gallons in the tank here, and I use 16 gallons per acre. So dividing that, I have 6 1/4 acres worth of fluid in the tank. The chemical I'm going to be using is called Grazon P+D. It's restricted use. I have an applicator's permit in order to buy it and to learn about safely applying pesticides. Actually, it's too windy today. I'm not going to spray today, but saying that I was. So there's certain applications of Grazon that require 2 pints per acre. There's some that require 3 pints per acre. If we're filling this 100-gallon tank up with Grazon at 2 pints an acre, that's 2 pints times the 6 1/4 acres that this fluid will last. So that's 12 1/2 pints. And if it's 3 pints per acre, times the 6 1/4 acres of fluid that I have, that's 18.75 pints. So that was really about the only math. I didn't do it in my head. I did it on the iPhone, but that's really the only math in the known area method. Much simpler than the extensive calculations required on the stationary method, though they both have their advantages and disadvantages. You may have noticed the hay in the background. There's plenty of green grass. It's not a green grass problem, but I use this coastal Bermuda hay to basically seed the fields with coastal. This is not a coastal field, but after I put hay out, and I don't put it in a ring, I let the cattle spread it around, trample on it, use it as a restroom, etc. And next spring, I'll have coastal Bermuda coming up wherever I put the hay down, and that's how I'll get that field turned over from Baha'i grass to Bermuda. And I'll also spray it with the Grazon P+D, because I've got plenty of weeds in the pasture also, and it'll take care of all the miscellaneous weeds.